That's at 6:35. But right now, some interesting local politics. Last night, a contentious meeting of the Charlotte City Council. Democrats who control the council finally voted no to using federal COVID money on a local job training project. One big reason they're not happy that a Republican council member was involved in putting the plan together. It is a bit of a complex story, but it shows just how nasty things are on city council between the two parties. And it raises a question. Should city money be spent on a nonprofit group if a member of city council is involved with that group?
This does not look good.
That is Democrat City Councilman Smudgy Mitchell. And what he thinks doesn't look good is something he apparently knew all about for months and something he previously had favored. But suddenly, last night, Mitchell and other Democrats on the city council turned on Republican Tark Bakari as if he was trying to do something unethical. What is the story here? Republican Bakari helped form a nonprofit some years ago that is funded by banks and tech companies. It's known as Carolina FinTech Hub, and it trains minorities to do computer coding. And those who complete the program are guaranteed a job.
For the last several years, we as a joint venture of the top banks and tech companies in town have come together to say, how can the private sector be involved in upward mobility? How can we find people with the aptitude that just need the training and the right opportunities?
The first group that went through the FinTech program were people making only $20,000 a year. They came out earning $55,000 as programmers, and many now earn much more.
Right now we're serving 50 people. Over 80% are people of color. Almost 40% are female. We've been doing this kind of work for years now.
Now, fast forward to the COVID-19 crisis when so many people started losing jobs. The city manager asked Tark Bakari if the nonprofit could help develop some fast job training that the city could get involved in.
City manager asked me in March, in the middle of this crisis, can you help us design something where we can help people now that have been impacted by COVID in the same way?
So Bakari says the FinTech program got $5 million committed from local businesses to begin training 90 people. And the city staff then proposed using $1.5 million in federal COVID money to actually pay the 90 students a stipend for the months that they're in training. Again, the idea to help people who were down and out who lost jobs.
I'm disappointed.
But last night, Democrats on council said all of this lacked transparency because tax money would be used for a nonprofit that involved council member Bakari. Democrat Dimple Ajmera spoke out against it last night.
And in this process, one council member almost got away without full disclosure.
She claims there wasn't full disclosure, that Councilman Bakari is involved with the nonprofit. But there is a problem with Ajmera's comments. On May 11th, 2 months ago, at a committee meeting, Ajmera asked the city staff to work with Tark Bakari's nonprofit because it has done such a good job training people for work. She said she knew of people who had been through the program.
I do know a single mother who went through their program and had great things to say, and she was able to get a job in financial services industry. I hope that we leverage some of their existing expertise that's already out there.
So, in May, Dimple Ajmera wanted the city to work with the job training program that Councilman Bakari was involved with. Last night, she led the charge to stop it, saying it was unethical. Bakari believes all of this is because Democrats on council are angry that he has vigorously defended police after recent protests.
And it's a dangerous time to defend the police. I know that. I understand. Nonetheless, it's my responsibility, but I knew it was politically motivated.
So the council voted not to spend the $1 million with the nonprofit that Bakari is associated with. Now, a few minutes ago, I got a call from Councilwoman Dimple Ajmera. So I asked her why she liked his program but then couldn't support it. Well, I guess what I don't understand is back on May 11th, I was looking at the video of the meeting today. You specifically directed city staff to work with Councilman Bakari and the FinTech nonprofit. You talked about how you knew a single mom who got a good job from the program, and you were all for it then. Why the change?
So, I'll say this. Nothing has changed. I still believe it's a great program, And on May 11th, there was no discussions about the program participation. We wanted to continue to leverage his expertise that he brings to council when it comes to workforce development.
Leverage Councilman Bakari's expertise, but Ajmera thinks that Bakari would benefit somehow from the city money, even though the money that would have been spent would have gone directly to pay the people who were being trained for jobs. He's of the opinion that it's politics because he spoke out in favor of police and disagreed with you on that. Does that have anything to do with it?
No, this is not personal, Mark. This is about, as I said earlier, this is about transparency, accountability, and good stewardship of our public dollars. This is not personal at all.
Well, as for the job training program, what will happen to it, Tark Bakari says the private companies are all stepping up to fill in the gap, so even though the city pulled $1 million, they will make the program work, and 90 people will be trained for jobs. So the underlying question here, is it unethical for the city council to spend money on a nonprofit organization that has some ties to a member of the council? It was quite a fight last night, and for the record, the city manager said there was no conflict of interest in the city working with FinTech Hub.